Yeah, hello, friends. It's December 30th, 2019. I wanted to do a quick video here for our Facebook page. As you know, I cannot report to groups until February, as I've been banned, sort of super uber banned by Facebook. But I'm going to do this one here, and I'm just going to post it in my site, my timeline, and hope that you guys or somebody will pick it up and find a way to place it into areas where we can get a bit more exposure. But I try to stay very connected to these little tiny signs, these tiny little hints and signs and evidence when I feel like the Democrat National Committee has decided to pull back and come up with a new scheme. Remember, they sit in these little rooms and they have their advisors and they have their pollsters and they have these other people come together. And the executive committees of the DNC come up with strategies that they then send out to all their public relations firms like CNN and MSNBC to repeat. But there's something else that they came up with, and I believe it's happened just right to coincide roughly with this impeachment stuff. Now, remember, they put together this entire impeachment knowing perfectly well that it's not going to, it'll be fine with the far left in their party, that probably the majority of the rest of their party will go along with it, even though they may have some misgivings. But they did this entire thing, the impeachment, the latest impeachment witch hunt smear, the whole sham, was put together with the idea that once the impeachment vote in the House was passed, then they would go and send their minions out into the talk radio sectors, into the social media sectors, into everywhere they have to try to do something brand new. And this is what I'm putting a video up about today, and I'm asking you to be alert to this because it appears to be something that politically the Democrats are doing now, and that is pretending to be Republicans or pretending to be libertarians or pretending to be former Trump supporters or former Trump voters. These people have been told to go out because the ultimate goal of the whole impeachment and every single witch hunt that's gone along, it shows the stupidity of the Democrats, but their ultimate goal is to pull off some of Trump's very loyal base because they know that until they can start pulling off the about 75 million voters that the Trump base has grown to become, then they're going to be in extreme danger. So, this is to say to you that you need to be aware, need to be on alert. Look for people who call into radio stations saying that they're Republicans, but they have this or that misgiving about Trump. Look for people who pretend to be independents who are thinking of voting Trump, but blah, 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 blah. Look for people who claim to be libertarians who pretty much, for the most part, 90% of libertarians support the Trump agenda. Beware of those as well. You need to be alert now as we go into the last, 10 months of the pre-election period, which we're heading into now. They're going to up the ante. They're going to use every technique they can. And the technique of the day, the flavor of the month, which might be the flavor of the next 10 months, that flavor of the month is trolling our communication areas. Now, I just noticed this. I noticed this on Talk Radio, but I also noticed this on TikTok. The Democrats and the leftists have, for the most part, not treated the world of TikTok as anything they need to spend a lot of time on. Oh, we have our Democrat leftists. We have our nutty leftist nutties. We got them in there, and they put their videos up. I'm not saying they don't. But the Trump Nation movement, the Trump 2020 movement, has a massive, I'll underscore the word massive foothold on TikTok now. People like myself and many other great content providers, people better than me by a mile, we have worked hard over the last year or so since we came here and there were virtually no pro-Trump videos anywhere to be found or even hashtags. Now, however, all you have to do is go to any of the hashtags, MAGA, Trump 2020, Trump Nation, any of those, Donald Trump, and you will see literally millions upon millions upon millions of pro-Trump 1-minute videos on this TikTok application. Now, remember, TikTok has quietly grown to be a multi-billion person platform. In other words, billions of users use this, and I'm not even counting, all the Chinese, since they tend to wall up the Chinese version of TikTok. But it's a huge presence now for Donald Trump and for our America First movement. It's very easy to see. Just go and follow anybody under any of the hashtags we have out there. Excuse me. So I've been rather alarmed at the recent increase in the number of leftist Dems who are sending their leftist videos into our hashtags. They sometimes try to make it a little unclear of where they stand in the beginning, and then they zing you with some anti-Trump baloney at the end. The whole idea is their whole purpose, and I believe this comes from Democrat National Committee headquarters, is to try to leverage the impeachment baloney into driving some Trump supporters away from Donald. That's their thinking. They think that if they get on talk radio and they go on social media and go into our hashtags and put up videos from 20 years ago when Trump may have said he didn't like this or that Republican, that therefore some of us will begin to have doubts about Trump and about the America First movement. That's their hope. They think that the longer they can keep this impeachment thing dangling around in front of our faces, and the more they can put pretend stealth operatives into our talk radio shows and into our social media, that they can get exposed to and pull off a certain number of our Trump Nation supporters. This is a fact. This is not something that I'm coming up with. I believe that it's very clear that there's been an uptick in the use of our hashtags to send their bull over. Now, how do we stop them? How do we make sure that they do not continue to spread their toxic propaganda into our ears stealthily? We don't want to be ambushed by Democrats, that's for sure. We don't listen to anything they say, so they're trying very hard to find new ways to get us to hate Trump. Since we don't listen, we don't watch CNN, we don't have anything to do with their left-wing icons at all. So for that reason, they're going to continue doing this. They're going to continue, probably for the next 10 months, they're going to continue trying their best to get us to hear their anti-Trumpism. We in Trump Nation, that may sound silly to you, it may sound ridiculous. I mean, we know there's no possibility of most of the people who hear my voice on this ever voting Democrat again after the stuff they've done this last 3 years. But the Democrats there are a certain number of naive, stupid Democrats who have been told by the DNC that this is the prime time, this is the perfect opportunity, that the times are ripe now, that we voted for the impeachment in the House, to go out and pretend to be Republicans or Trump supporters or former Trump supporters and try to make this image, this impression that all these former Trump supporters are now leaving in the hope that that will magnetically pull actual Trump supporters away from the president. All right? So I've just given you an insider's tip on Democrat National Committee strategy that has recently taken a turn. Be aware. How do we fight them now? All right, well, what do? Obviously, you don't read their crap. You do whatever you can to remove them, but don't just block them from your feed so that they don't pollute your feed. you have to report them. Anybody who comes along, pretends to be somebody they're not, and pushes it into our hashtag, I think you have a legitimate case for filing a report of harassment against yourself. That's perfectly fine. You can report them, put that report in there. Now, remember this, that unlike the more maybe sophisticated staff, et cetera, at Twitter or Facebook, they're really not that sophisticated over at TikTok. When you issue a report on people, especially for harassment or anything physical, et cetera, like that, or they will almost 9 out of 10 times block that person and suspend their account. And that is just the way they do it. It's almost automated. So the more Democrats you report, the more we will be eliminating them from applications like TikTok. You can do the same with Twitter and Facebook, but they tend to go into the tweets much more in depth and give people a little bit more of a hearing. Not so with things like TikTok if you happen to be on it. Other apps also have the same issue. They don't want anything to do with reportable people, so they just suspend them without a hearing. You can use this fact to remove Democrats from your from the Twitter and the Facebook universe too. Okay, so report, and then, of course, after you've reported, go back and block. This way, they can't pollute your timeline. We don't have to listen to their troll comments. We don't have to listen to them pretending to be Republicans or pretending to be former Trump supporters. We can, in other words, stem their propaganda at the source by cutting them out immediately. Yeah. All right. So let's see what you guys got to say. I don't go on this here as often as I used to since I've been blocked from my groups. Once I get back on groups, I'll be back on Facebook regularly. I just do 1-minute pieces for my people now. But let's see what you guys had. Happy New Year to you, Kathleen. Happy New Year to all of our Trump Nation supporters. Oh, yes. Jerry, I've heard about this. Disarmament officers. Yeah, I heard all about this. The unhiring of actual police officers who are actually doing their jobs because we don't want to offend the criminals in New York City. This is what de Blasio gets you, a trash can. That's it. Nothing more. Hello, Margie, calling from Florida. How you doing? Hey, Jim. That was a good post, Jim, that little ad you did the other day. Nice job. I don't know where you got it, but it's a good one. It's on my Facebook page, by the way. Jim put that out there. Nice. Celine, how you doing, girl? Hope you're well. Hope your family and your New Year works out well for you. It turns out to be a great one this year. Kathleen takes on the little reporters and cry out why when their editors should be stopped. I should have stopped them in their tracks. You know, we've seen a decline in the professionalism of our upper echelons of our FBI, and we've seen a decline, of course, in legitimacy, professionalism, and the respect people once had for hard-hitting journalists. My father was a journalist, and he was a great journalist. He was an investigative journalist who actually did the job and had a strong, tough editor who wouldn't let him BS. In the old days, you had to tell the truth. You had to have facts. You had to have witnesses. You had to have evidence. You almost had to have a little court trial, be a lawyer almost to be a reporter, as well as to have a lot of balls to get in there and find the story. I'm not taking away from that generation of reporters. That was when the media was actually people of honor and respect. Today, they have decided that their goal is that it's perfectly all right for them to represent one party over another and to lie, cheat, distort, omit, and do anything they need to do to battle and destroy the other side using the newspapers and the media and their pals in Hollywood and the music industry to help support the whole effort. But they never countered. They never countered on the internet. They never counted on the powerful influence of talk radio. They never counted on one channel doing exactly what they do mostly. And although they do still have never Trump or dickheads like Neil Cavuto on. They did get rid of Shep Smith. I'm glad to see that. Fox News is still way above any of the other networks other than OANN. OANN is the best of all the networks if you can be lucky enough to get it on cable. Cable's tried hard. The leftists, cable have tried hard to admit OANN. But we have many sources now, many ways to communicate, many ways to strategize. They do not run the news. They're not the source of all the world's facts anymore. And we can get facts from multiple areas now. We don't need Democrats running newspapers to tell us what facts are. So the times have changed, and we showed that in 2016. Now, if any of you have followed me, you know that I'm not one of these people who believes we can rest on our laurels for 2020. I know many of you feel like it's going to be a cakewalk. I know many of us feel like it has to be a landslide. Look, I want it to be a landslide, of course. I'd be the happiest guy on earth. But I'm not going to walk into this thinking we got this bagged the way Hillary did. We can't make the same mistake Hillary did. And she made the mistake of thinking she has this in the bags, she's got it. Why even bother to go to Michigan or whatever, Wisconsin? That arrogance and stupidity is one of the reasons she lost the election. It's not the only one. I don't think it would have helped much for her to go there by herself. But the point being that she was complacent, she was arrogant, she truly believed that she had it all sewn up. 93% chance she's going to win, said CNN on election night. So we don't want to make the same mistake. And what does that mean? Well, you know how you're going to vote. I know how I'm going to vote. We got those locked up already. Us convincing ourselves to vote for Trump is pretty much a wasted effort. We shouldn't be here working on ourselves. There's nothing wrong with sharing our pro-Trump cartoons, materials, opinion. Of course, that's perfectly fine. It's a good thing. It's a way of communicating and building unity. But at the same time, we cannot lose sight of the fact that they have had and will have had 4 full years to prepare for Donald Trump this time. They did not use any of their time, basically, to prepare for Donald Trump because they were too foolish to see the working class of this country and how we felt and how we're going to vote. They dismissed us, and they believed their stupid, biased polls. And so we basically ambushed them in 2016. It was almost like a surprise attack, if you want to think of it that way. Almost a surprise attack. This time, we do not have the element of surprise. And that is why I say we cannot rest on our laurels. We cannot take it easy. We cannot do nothing. We cannot just say, we got this in the bag. I know how I'm voting, so I just wait until November 2nd and let's get this vote over. That's not going to work this time. It worked the first time because nobody took us seriously. Now they definitely take us seriously. It's kind of like a team winning a championship and then the next year, and nobody gave them a chance to win. Kind of like the Nationals, right? And next year, everybody's going to be gunning for my Washington Nationals baseball team. And that's just the way it is. And that's the way it is for Trump. They're going to be gunning for him. Yeah. And thank you, Kathleen. I am too. And really, all of the amendments and the Constitution at its core, I'm for all of them. But we can't just sit around. And this time, last time we put out a few signs, we did a few things, but I think this time, I've said this in other forums. I know a lot of us feel uncomfortable about putting a bumper sticker on our car. We don't want somebody bashing our window in. Maybe when our child is in the car hearing some dirty words blown at us or something. I understand that. I get that feeling. The Democrats are a violent, crazy bunch of people. So naturally, if you have a Trump sticker, there's a chance that some portion of those people would start engaging in violence. So I understand it. But even though many of us live in places like I live in Maryland, which is basically communist China. If I was to put a Trump sticker on my car, it would be torn off for sure, and probably someone would do something to my car, probably rip my mirror off or something. There's just that many crazies still out there. So, but what can we do? This is why I love the idea of the pro-Trump bumper stickers. Again, I talked about it before, so if I'm boring you, I'm sorry. But think of the lowly Trump bumper sticker and how useful it is. Think of how flexible it is. And if you use some super glue, how permanent it almost can be. Think about that. And then think about all the people out there who are thinking about some positive things about Trump. Maybe they didn't vote for him in 2016, but they said, this economy is great, or I'm so glad he's taking the southern border seriously. Those people are potential Trump voters in 2020, and there are lots of them out there. Here in Maryland alone, I know we have plenty of moderate Democrats living amongst us who don't like what Pelosi has done and what Nadler and Schiff have done. They don't like it at all. They want legislation, and they want them to work with the opposite side to get legislation accomplished. They're sick of this obsession with Trump and this impeachment nonsense. These people exist, that they're never going to come out of the woodwork because of the oppressive media propaganda machine flooding the airwaves with their toxic garbage. It's very hard. You don't want to have the garbage flung at you or attacked by big media. They're going to come after you, and the people who believe in big media will come after them too. But we only care about those people on election day. And I know some are going to call me nuts. I get it, and I understand, because I guess I might think of myself as nuts when I say that. There are moderate Democrats out there whom we can lure over to our side. Look, if they're going to pretend to be libertarians and GOP and Trump voters and then come on talk radio shows and dish dirt on Trump, if that's the new technique to get us to hear their side, then why the hell can't we do the same thing and infiltrate their bastions and let people see that there are Trump supporters out there, and that if you happen to be a moderate Democrat who has a lot of misgivings about the direction your party has gone, there is a place for you. And you don't have to agree with us 100% every minute of every day. It's all right. And you don't have to love Trump's style, even though so many of us do. That's okay. You're not required. We don't have jackboots on. We don't have a military guard at our rallies to make sure you comply. Okay, we're not like Democrats in that respect. Okay, you're not ostracized. You're not canceled or something if you violate PC culture. You're welcomed here as a person, and we'll evaluate you the way you'll evaluate us, which is on the basis of our character, personality, skills, the normal things you evaluate any human being on when you decide whether you agree or disagree or like or dislike them. All those normal things. That's Trump Nation. That's where we live. That's where we philosophically live in this country. We in the Trump movement. So I have no problem using the lowly bumper sticker and placing it where people can't help but see it. Now, tonight, I am going to actually go out. It's a nice night. It's for the first time it's not raining in a few days here. And I'm going to take a bumper sticker. And there happens to be a tiny yellow square warning sign in the middle of an island that faces a large intersection near where I live. That little square sign, it's actually a sort of a rectangle turned on its side. That sign is visible to people who are waiting for the traffic lights to change and have nothing left to do except to gaze straight ahead. And guess what they gaze at when they gaze straight ahead? They'll be gazing at a Trump 2020 bumper sticker, strategically placed. Now remember, when you do bumper stickers, what you're doing is you're telling that moderate Democrat voter, you're telling them, hey, there are a lot of us out here. Enough of us to be putting these stickers up. That's what you're saying. And when that person sees that, if they see it maybe enough times, they'll start saying, hey, maybe I want to vote for Trump too. Maybe I should. Maybe I will vote for Trump this time. I believe we can get a sizable number of moderate Democrats who are upset with their, not all, I'm not saying it may only amount to 5% or 10% of those moderate Democrats. I don't know. But that's 10% more voters for Trump than we would have had if we didn't make the effort by using this great flexible little tool, the bumper sticker. So get your bumper stickers. They are not expensive. Go over to the website I set up. It's you'll be buying through Amazon Prime, just as usual. It's nothing but an Amazon Prime account, and I just set it up so that 20% of every sale comes back to me, instead of going into Jeff Bezos' Democrat Washington Post pocket. So when you buy it through me, you're still buying through Amazon, but a portion gets sent back to me, and I instantly send that over to the Trump 2020 campaign. So instead of going into Bezos' pocket by buying your bumper stickers on this little site I set up, you'll be actually putting money into the Trump 2020 campaign instead of putting it all there. So you buy from Amazon still through this link, but you will be actually making what amounts to like a 20% donation to the Trump campaign. So it's a great way to buy bumper stickers. Plus, I scouted out all the gear. If you want little step ladders that are ultra lightweight, so you can get higher places to put the bumper stickers on, so that people can't easily take them down. I've got that in my little store that I created over there. So remember, this is not profit. I keep nothing of it. Every penny goes to Donald Trump's campaign. But by buying through my site, it's AB Nicholas, ABNICHOLAS, AB Nicholas, just like St. Nicholas, abnicholas.com. abnicholas.com/Trump, just like that. abnicholas.com/Trump. And just stock up on bumper stickers, man. Do what I do. I mean, or you maybe have your own technique, and that's great. But what I do is I have stacks of bumper stickers. I have about 20. And in every one of my coats or my hoodies or whatever in my pockets, I always have at least like 10 bumper stickers ready to go. And why do I do that? Because I might be driving along and I see this perfect place. It might be a perfect time of day to put up a Trump bumper sticker on a sign or on a telephone pole or on a bus station waiting area. All of these efforts are part of the overall promotion of the president, and also notifying potential Trump voters who are independents or moderate Democrats that we're out there and it's okay to vote Trump in November of 2020. All righty, that's all I really wanted to say. You can get them directly from Amazon too if you want to. It's perfectly fine. Wherever you get them, they don't cost much. $2.99 for 20, 10, $5.99 for a huge pack. They cost nothing, but they send the message out there that we in Trump Nation aren't going away. All righty, my friends. Good luck, and feel free to publish this anywhere you like. Again, I'm not allowed to publish into groups or even to cross-comment, etc. I'm not able to do any of that until February 20th. Can you believe that? They gave me a full 6-month suspension. And the reason was I revealed the name of the whistleblower on my videos. And they had warned people not to do so, but I said, screw you, I'm putting it up here, and I did it. So they punished me with a big one, 6 months. Have a great one. Have a great New Year's. It's going to be a wonderful 2020 for us, friends, and a wonderful 2020. Successful and prosperous. A roaring 20s for our country again.